Like the label comes in, they take a lot, and then they put up this red tape, and now you have to run things by them. And it's
but it does give you a chance.
But it gives you a chance, right?
I think that's why we do it, because there's a chance. How long do you talk?
How long do I talk?
Yeah.
Why, you got somewhere to be?
No, I'm just like gauging, like, is this like...
Typically, my podcast lasts an hour.
Okay,
but the thing is, Katie, it's going to fly by.
Oh.
Can I call you Caitlin? No one calls you Caitlin, right?
Welcome, Caitlin Marie Offerman.
That's your middle name, Marie?
Yeah.
Who has ever said that to you?
Nobody?
Nobody calls you that, right?
No.
Yeah.
Unless I'm at the doctor at like college. Oh, well. Is that going to be a vibe? You got to make sure it's looking good. All right. Aesthetically?
Lighting looks good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool.
Mitch, nice work on the lighting.
Wow.
This is so intimate.
So intimate.
It's not that intimate.
Oh, man. That Frito looks good over there.
You want some Fritos?
Should I just be munching while you're talking?
Blair and I have a thing with Fritos. Do you know what's in Fritos?
Zach, do you want to say
Corn?
Fritos have like 3 ingredients.
Probably some kind of bad seed oil, corn, and salt, or what?
Blair, what's in the Fritos? It's corn, canola oil.
corn, vegetable oil, and salt?
That's exactly what I just... So a bad
No,
seed oil.
you said a bad seed oil. Vegetable oil is not seed oil.
Yes, it is.
What are you talking about?
It's a bad oil. You need to go read about it online.
Okay, but it's not a bad seed oil. It doesn't come from seeds. Pull it up.
It says
Is
corn and
canola oil a seed oil?
No, vegetable oil. I got it right here. Seed oils are a type of vegetable oil. Really good.
Yep, see?
But I
yes.
think what's going to happen, because I've been eating seed oil and
No.
like, I'm still here.
Seed
No,
oils-
educate me. You're too far away from the mic. What are you doing?
Well, I didn't know this was like part of our deal. Seed oils,
It's all getting captured.
I just know that Colby has told me we don't eat seed oils
Your
anymore.
husband has
yes,
declared
has told me
that we but are you going to let men have all the power like that? Like, what's your take
yeah,
on this?
because if he says it's going to make me look better, then yeah. He doesn't say it like that, but he's just like, he says that seed oil is worse for you than sugar. And everybody's like, oh, sugar. Ah.
Yeah.
No, seed oil.
Do you feel like you eat a low sugar diet? Because I eat no sugar outside of fruit.
Same. I don't eat any sugar.
No sugar. I think that's the secret.
Do you read the ingredients of your food, though? Like, when you buy like a pasta sauce, do you read it?
Oh, no, but the thing is, I don't even use pasta sauce.
Oh.
Pasta sauce?
What is your diet?
I don't even know anymore. Like, I'll eat like a can of black, like I'll eat like single ingredient foods.
Right. And
So
that's the
like
key.
salads, like
And Fritos.
no, that's just here in the moment. It's very off brand. Blair, get the Fritos out of here. Those can't be here.
And
there
Fritos.
are no Fritos in my apartment. At
I'm
any
literally
time.
looking at the Fritos right now in your apartment.
We're gonna move on. This is the problem with hosting podcasts where you live.
They see the truth about you.
Everything is under scrutiny, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Catie Offerman is on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Katie, thanks for coming on. I feel like we've been talking about doing this for...
I mean, I met you a long time ago.
I was actually thinking about that. You were one of the first people I ever knew of. I actually knew of you before I met you.
That was like back in 2000, like
18.
18.
Because that's when I moved to
17, 18?
town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What was your impression of me? No, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Well, no, I just remember because I met you with Tyler, right?
Yeah, the first time I ever met you was with Tyler Dial, another great artist in town.
But where were we at? How did we
I actually
meet?
remember the first
Probably
time I met
some
you.
shit.
We were in...
Then lay it on me.
I think we were somewhere in the Gulch by Melrose, and he came to pick you up, and you got in his car. Or no.
That sounds really sketch.
No. I think you guys were going to like a gig or something. Like somehow you guys had to be somewhere together. Maybe you dropped him off. Somehow he got into your...
I don't think I've ever driven with Tyler Dial in my life.
Somehow you pulled up in a car. I remember meeting you while you were in a car.
All right, well...
Just go with it.
I'm going with it. That sounds really sketch.
And then I ran to you at like Whiskey Jam a couple times.
Yeah,
and,
classic.
And we met. And one time we ran to Turnip Truck before a gig. Do you remember that? You were with your band. And
I'm not... Wow, I guess our meetings have just been
all
so
of these
memorable in my
interactions
mind.
were so much more impactful for me than they were for you, clearly. Like you were
God.
like, what, do you want me to sign something? Do you want a photo? Like, what do you want? Like,
It wasn't like that. I guess my memory... I don't know. I keep thinking my memory is awesome, but I'm thinking more and more that maybe it's not these days.
we're getting
I'm losing
older.
it.
That's
We
the
are
point.
getting old.
But here's the thing, Katie, look at where you've come. You've been on
Thank you.
a run of shows opening up for George Strait. When was the last one you did? You did the largest concert ever.
In North America. I did not know when I signed up for that show that was going to be the big deal.
Really?
I mean, I just thought, anything with George, like, obviously is just a dream and a blessing to be there. Like, I'm truly just like, I'm lucky to be here. Like, they could have picked anybody else, but it was just a bonus that happened to be the largest concert ever.
How many dates have you done with him now?
Only 3.
Okay.
We've only done 3. I do a ton of shows with Parker McCollum, and the cool thing about this last show was the fact it was me, Parker, and George. That's just like my dream first of 3. Like,
really?
Sign me up for life. I don't care. That's all it is. That's all I want.
But hold on, because I tend to find like when these crazy things are happening to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so neurotic that all I can do is focus on, like, how do I keep the momentum? How do I keep things moving? Like, am I taking advantage of this moment?
Yeah.
Like, are you able to really be present for these shows?
That's a struggle. I think that's for the shows, I would say 100%. I think that I did notice, after the shows, I noticed, because I had a conversation with Emily, my manager, of like, I can tell people are paying attention now, because even little things like putting question boxes out on Instagram in the past, of just the number of responses I get versus that next day I did one and it was like, I couldn't even answer them all, and I just saw people were paying attention. And I think that sometimes you wonder in those moments of like, maybe there's a certain more amount of pressure of like, how do I capitalize on this or whatever? I put out a song right now. That doesn't mean it's going to go viral. Like, you just have to keep going. That's the thing, is like, you just keep going. And the truth is like, yeah, okay, so the reel I posted the next day got 500,000 views, but then the next one got like 10,000. It's like, that doesn't mean that you failed or you're suddenly back down to where you were. Yeah. It's just like that's just the game we play.
But do you feel like, because I've noticed different things that I've done where different things that have happened or that I've done, and it's like a clear defining point that my career progressed from that one thing. Like, do the George Strait shows feel like they accomplished that?
I think this one definitely has made people pay attention in certain ways. I mean, just even
Which
because
type of people, like fans or like industry people? Like, who do we need? Who's paying attention now that wasn't?
I don't know, but I need some more people to pay attention.
No, but seriously,
hello,
like,
everybody, it's me.
Like, this is Catie Offerman.
No,
like,
I'll be honest
what
with
type
you.
of person? Like, do people treat you differently? Because like when I did, like, there are certain things I do where I'll do something, like I'll drop a list, or like we did our print issue, or like we did the interview with Brad. Like, I did the interview with Brad Paisley, and all these people would come up to me and start sucking up to me like I've never experienced before. Like,
I mean, I've gotten that in the past, when you sign a record deal or things like that. Yeah, I get the sucking up. It's like the people that never would want to do X, Y, and Z with you are suddenly coming out of the woodwork. To be honest with you, I think that I try so hard to maintain such a even keel kind of thing about the whole deal, where it's like, I think that that's the way I protect my heart, is just by saying it's such an even, like, it's hard for me to go up, because that means that when I'm steady here, the lows are not as low.
I find that too sometimes. Like, do you think, did any part of you think maybe you should have been even more excited about the George Strait shows? Like, were you trying to guard yourself from getting too excited?
The funny thing is like, I was genuinely excited about the George shows. Like, that for me was probably one of the more like easy times for me to show emotion. I've noticed it actually the only time I've ever like got somewhat, I don't really get happy emotional. It's not like I don't happy cry.
Yeah. I see. I have the same problem.
I'm like, I wish I could happy cry. Like, the people that are like, oh my God.
Have you ever cried in a movie, like, ever?
Only when a dog died.
That was
That's
the only
time.
So what?
Yeah.
What, like, Saving Winn-Dixie, or what is that? The movie? What's the
Marley and Me?
Marley and Me.
Colby and I just like bawled. Like,
that was it.
Like,
yeah. I
like,
have the same problem
bad.
too. Like, I can't get very invested in anything.
But I love watching. I'm like, yeah, kill all the people, but the dog, no.
That's too far.
I can't. No, that's too far.
We're gonna talk about the dogs, but
love the dogs.
Yeah,
but I think that for me, what I noticed was at the George show, people had made posters for me, and I'd never experienced that before. Like, we love Catie, we love OK Cowboy, whatever. And this girl came up to me, and she had made me a sign that said, like, I don't know if it said, we love Catie, or, now I'm like, I should know, but it has a heart, and it says Catie. And she made it for me, and she came to the meet and greet. And that was the thing. When you're in a stadium of 110,000 people, like, the likelihood that Joe Blow sitting in their seat across the stadium is going to want to come to your meet and greet in row 126 or whatever is very slim, But like, this line was just through the roof, and that was insane for me. And this girl holding the sign that she had made just for me, when she handed it to me, because she waited and gave it to me when I was walking back towards the elevator, and she just gave it to me, and like, just said how much she loved my set and how much she loved my music, and like gave me a hug. And I was like, I actually got choked up for a second because I was like, you know what? People don't usually do this for me. And those are just like really sweet first moments, you know? So I told her, I was like, yeah, she got to see a sweeter side of me than you normally do, you know?
George Strait brings it out of you.
George does. And so right now I'm manifesting 2025 Catie, Parker, George tour, because the thing is, Parker's mom came up to me back at the New Year's show this past New Year's and was like, Catie, I'm telling you, we got to get you, Parker, and George together. Well, there you go.
The thing is that I feel like the mom could actually pull it together.
Oh, moms always get it together.
How glamorous, because I feel like people don't realize that touring is so unglamorous.
For
and even
sure.
when you get to a pretty big level, like the green rooms are still not that nice. Like I've been in really big amphitheaters where the green rooms still suck. But at that level with George, does it get glamorous? Is there any glamour? It gets better at that level. Like how glamorous at the top of the game? How glamorous is it?
The catering is a lot better.
Really?
Like the catering definitely is better.
How good does the catering get? Because I've also been on like big shows where I'm like, this is what Joe Schmo's eating. Like this still sucks. Does it get really good at that level?
Like I know I did some shows when I was playing fiddle with somebody. We did a lot of shows with Allison Krauss. She had good catering. George has great catering. I mean, look, it's not like a place where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to be talking about that food for months. But like it was good. It was good. Good brisket. Yeah. Good salad bar. Like at this show, they had ceviche.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, just like, and
in
it was
that
good.
Texas heat, you're eating ceviche?
Wait, nothing like warm shrimp. I mean, it was the shrimp ceviche. Oh God. Nothing like, I love ceviche so much. This is going to sound really bougie, but like, I don't want tilapia ceviche. I don't want a bottom feeder fish that is cooked up with lime juice raw, you know?
Yeah.
And
but still at the George show, they had it.
Shrimp.
And you
they did
ate
shrimp.
It. Oh, they had shrimp.
Yeah, they had shrimp. So they're stepping it up.
They're stepping it up. Okay, yeah.
But I've been to some Mexican restaurants in Texas and been like, God, I love y'all ceviche. What fish do you use? And they're like, catfish. I'm like,
No.
Nope.
But I've never even heard of catfish ceviche. That's not even a thing.
Oh, they do it. But George does not.
But like, where do you go? You're in a green room.
So you're in a green room. When we did the two shows at Dickey's, we were in a nice, really nice green room. You know, it's so nice, and they deck us out with Code to Go and you know, sent flowers, like so nice.
And they have good staff who helps with like
so nice
setup.
Like they set up all of our gear for us, like bring it all on stage. Like that's not the norm. They do all of our sound. All of George's guys does our sound. That's awesome and totally not the norm because I'm used to really bad sound.
Yeah.
And so I think for me that's one of the biggest. I think the best way for me to just like get out of my head and know like the sound's gonna be good. So that's all.
Can you text George Strait? Do you have George's number?
No, I don't.
What's it gonna take to get his number?
I mean, I have friends that have his number. I just don't ask them for.
Do you think about like all I think about in these situations is like how can I become better friends with George Strait? Like is that what's going through your mind? Like, I
mean, I'm definitely like, yo, we gotta get that photo of me, Parker, and George. Like that would have been cool at that show, but like we didn't have any interaction.
Not even Parker can't come to the table and be like, we need to make this happen. Let's hang around after the show. We're going to catch him when he's coming off stage.
I don't know if they ever had any major interaction. I mean, we've both met George in the past. They run a tight camp. Like if George is in the hallway, like not really anybody's in the hallway. Like it's like him. You know, they keep it well orchestrated. But I mean, yeah, I want to hang with George. I did see, the key is you got to hang with the wife and the family because it's like the family likes you.
That's always how you get in. That's always the secret.
So Norma and I have hung out the last couple of shows a little bit and she is so kind. And so that's been good. And I had met Bubba before, his son, and Bubba's awesome. You know, I mean, they're just like good people. They're just like normal people.
Do you strive to get a George Strait cut? Like,
I mean, that's the next goal. I'm like, maybe he should sing on Don't Do It in Texas. Maybe me, Parker, and George put out Don't Do It in Texas.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're thinking about this.
Oh, yeah. No, it's never crossed my mind.
Yeah. I just want to be sure this has crossed the mind.
It definitely has.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought about the world of, like, pitching songs to George because I think it seems like at this point, like, maybe just having him sing on a song or doing, whatever. I'd take whatever I could get. Just more point. George.
Yeah. Okay, so the three of you going out.
Yeah, I mean, any of that combo would be awesome. I've heard maybe he's doing more Vegas. I'm just like, you know what? You say the word, I'll be there. I would do it if it didn't pay a dime.
Do you really think, because I've heard you say this, and this is such a great story, do you really think you got on these dates because you're a hairdresser? Is that how you did this?
I really think it was what pushed it over the top. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that WME was pitching me for it, or that, I think it takes a combination of multiple angles all the time, of working these kind of situations.
Yeah.
And so, and obviously people can go watch the stories online as far as like how I met George in the hair salon. But the fact that, I hadn't talked to Kim, the hairstylist, in 14 years, and George is still going to Kim. What a faithful guy. Like,
first of all, this is insane to me. If I'm George, I'm having someone come to my house to cut my hair. I'm not leaving.
He goes to her.
That to me is
Right.
crazy.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like even you're having people come to your house to do your hair.
I mean-
why is George Strait leaving the house to get his hair cut?
I think he's a good man. I think he's an honest man. I think he is sticking with his gal who's never done him wrong.
I would never live that life. If I had the means of George Strait, everybody would be coming to me. I'd be going nowhere.
Yeah,
I just want to be clear about that.
Well, apparently he's, better than us. But he's been still going to Kim. And just the fact that, like, she put in that good word for me of, like, hearing me on Bobby Bones and being like, hey, do you remember that chick you met in the hair salon, like, 14 years ago? Like, I think, and then it just so happened because Caitlin Smith was supposed to be on those shows that I had. And she was so pregnant, she had to pull out because she was supposed to give birth around that time. And so it was, like, just literally, like, the stars aligning of Caitlin pulled out. I'm sure WME has put in some words. Also, the Wrights from Universal have always put in a good word for me, like Stephanie and Brian. I love them. And they talked to George in the past about me. And then Kim putting in that word. It's probably just like, oh, okay, well, so-and-so told me about her,
Yeah.
I think you just kind of build that trust of like, okay, maybe there's something here.
I feel like there's an artist to go out supporting George Strait. It's you. Like,
Thank
who
you.
else?
Thank you.
Who else would do this and feel like it's such a good match? Like,
Well, I just feel lucky because I feel like, I mean, it's weird for me to say like it's such a good fit because he is on such a high pedestal. So I don't mean it in a sense of like I'm equal or enough for George. It's just that his fan base, like in what I do, like in the music I make, and it being more timeless, and and having that hint of like classic element about it, like George's fans, that's perfect for them. And this is, I don't know, just seeing all the ages from like literally 4-year-olds to on their deathbed at George's show.
That's why what I think it is like a George Strait fan is going to be a fan of yours, and I think musically, like I think there are songs in your catalog that could be cut by George Strait. Like they fit that thing. You probably wouldn't say that, but I
do have a few in mind. I'm like, actually, now that you say it,
if anyone could get this to them, like I think the least surprising thing I'd ever hear is that you got a George Strait cut. Because I feel like,
thank you.
Don't you
for
think
that.
musically you're inspired by those songs too? Like, are you
sure.
chasing those lyrically and that sonic thing?
Yeah, I think just, I mean, and the funny thing is like I said at one point, like, because people are always, every single person, when you start doing this whole thing in the business, they're always like, well, who do you kind of compare your music to? Who do you want to sound like? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, don't you want me to sound like me? But you got to come up with something. And so it's like,
That's
well.
my foot, by the way.
Wait, I'm tapping your foot. Yeah. I was like, wait.
While I have you, is the air conditioning too loud or are we okay? Should I shut it off or we're good? Okay, we're good. I was like just thinking about that.
I'm surprised you can feel it with your Uggs on. So
I was like, does she know she's tapping my foot under the
I know.
table?
I was like, well, table leg.
Okay,
foot,
yeah.
I don't know.
No.
So what was I talking about? Oh, with George, people in this town like you to compare yourself to somebody or give them an example, And at some point I was like, well, my goal, my only hope was that I could be somewhat of like a female George Strait. And in the sense of not, because now everybody's like, oh, she's Catie Offerman, the female George Strait. I'm like, okay, no, it's not like that. It's just that what he does, he sings on his songs and he's not out there in some crazy flamboyant, risque outfit. It's just a man fully clothed singing honest songs and connecting with people. There's no pyrotechnics. That's what I took away from that show. Was I think the most meaningful part to me was not the fact I got to play it, but when I walked out and saw 110,000 people all connected by just great songs and delivery.
Yeah.
Like,
but you'd never seen him live before?
oh no, I've seen it many times, but never that many people, not 110,000 people.
Because that was the biggest show.
And everybody was lit up, had the
history.
wristbands, and it was like, but I hadn't, I mean, I don't know. That was just a different experience, and to really see it like that, it reminded me, because I think we're so easily caught up by tracks and how much more can we add? And, you know, maybe I'll wear less clothes, or maybe I'll do this, or have glitter falling from the sky, and that's all great. But it was just a good reminder for me as my kind of artist to see, like, yes, this still works, you know? And so that was kind of inspiring. And the fact that nobody, like Parker doesn't use tracks, like, I love that. I think that's awesome. So
I'm here for this.
Thank you. You got to come up to the next one. You can do live footage.
Is there another one?
I don't know, but I'm putting it out there.
There better be another one because I have to come out.
Yeah,
you know, I was hearing you tell this story, which I'm trying to figure out if this is like actually real.
Oh.
No, it's fine.
What is it?
I heard you say that the church you went to growing up thought you were going to go to hell for playing country music. Yep,
for sure. So I originally went to a Presbyterian church because that's where my grandparents went. It was like in the family. And I mean, I'm going to just be straight up. I don't know anybody that's ever gone to like an old school Catholic, Presbyterian, Episcopal, whatever, one of those churches, and left feeling totally just... I mean, Colby's mom would think otherwise because she is like just so locked into the Catholic Church. And I mean, you know, you do you, boo. But like, it never spoke to me. You know, all that kneeling and up and down. I'm like, I just need somebody to give me some great message and hear some amazing music. And so, you know, and I was homeschooled, an only child. And my mom was like, well, Catie needs friends. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I had a couple homeschooled friends naturally. And so she's like, let's go to the church that they go to and try it out. And, you know, look, it's not criticizing any of those people because the truth is they think that they're like doing the right thing. They think that they're following God's, you know, there's no ill intention, I don't think. But, you know, we started going to that church and I just felt like they were more critical than anything else. And I had a Sunday school teacher come over to our house when I was 12 years old because my mom invited him over for dinner because his wife was out of town. And I actually don't even know if he's like still alive or what he's doing. But after dinner, he was like, well, I got something in the car. And so he comes back over. We're all sitting at this table and he's on the other side and he lays out this 3-ring binder. And it was all suicide articles, obituaries of people in the arts that had killed themselves. And he said, if you...
Oh my God, he just had that?
Oh, yeah. He had made that, put that... Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was like, if you keep doing music, you're going to be in this book. And I was like... like, what do you, nobody said anything. My mom was like, you know.
Did you believe him for a second?
No. I was more just like, really? You wasting my time tonight with this?
That's how you felt at 12? Because I feel like...
I think I just felt put on the spot. It was a weird feeling.
I might not have believed him, but I feel like that would have been very upsetting. Because maybe a part of me at 12 years old would have believed him.
Yeah, I get that. But
you knew that was like...
I was already playing gigs. No, because I could kind of see through it. You know, we'd have to... we would pray for Catholics going to hell. We'd have to, like, they would tell me that I was going to hell for wearing Abercrombie. You know, I'm like, some of this isn't seeming right. Like, and they're the ones that are knocked up and, you know, on drugs. And I'm over here like, I don't even drink. Like, you know.
What's going to happen?
Yes.
I'm playing in a polka band. Like,
exactly. Like, I'm playing polka music. I'm in a fully clothed German dirndl. Like, what's going to happen? No. And look, the road, it's not like it's all pure out there, you know. And yeah, I did see things and, but it's like I had great parents and I had a good head on my shoulders and it wasn't really right for their judgment, you know. And I think that's, if you're trying to be a testament of whatever you believe or God, it's like, man, I don't think that's the way. But then I sang special music one time. This is when that whole thing came about because...
you sang special music?
That's what they called it, special music.
That's what it was. That's country music or that, what?
Every Sunday they had on the program special music. But that meant...
What program? What were we talking about?
Like the church program.
The church program. Okay, fine.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore. But you open up, be like a wedding ceremony.
Okay,
like you open up and be like, and the, you know, doxology and whatever. And so they were like, well, you play music. Why have you never done our special music? And I'm like, you know, it was like really bad, like just piano music. And then like some gal like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
Not great music. Not like, you know...
Like very traditional.
Yes. Okay, and nobody here is doing it for a profession. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I just brought my guitar and picked some gospel song to go sing. And I just remember I was up there rehearsing and one of the gals comes up to me and she's like, are you singing to God or the devil? And I'm like, oh my God, like what? So, you know.
To me though, I'm trying to understand your demeanor because I got kicked out of Hebrew school, okay? And I was one of the only people who got kicked out.
What'd you do?
Ever.
I've never heard of Hebrew school either. So
what do you mean? Where do you think the Hebrews go? I got sent out all the time.
Okay.
Because I would always question everything like to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And I would like poke holes in things that I didn't believe in.
Yeah.
And like, those rabbis are strict, as they say, although there was not even rabbis who teach Hebrew school. But the point is, I was very rebellious because all this pissed me off.
Okay.
Like, were you feeling so pissed off by this, or were you kind of not responding to it, but knowing this is ridiculous? Or like what was your reaction when someone...
I think it made me turn off by the church. Like, I think it turns you off. Like, you wonder why people are turned off by why they don't go to church or why they get like mad at God or something.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not like one to be over here like, I feel like I'm not... When you grow up in such a Christian family, like, and it's not like my parents go to church when they come to visit us. Like, I wouldn't say they're just like super devout, nothing like that. But like, I mean, I grew up and my dad, we'd do Bible studies at like 5 a.m. and then start homeschooling and always go to church. I'd lead worship at like a little Bible study on Tuesday, and then you go to church on Sunday morning, then you go Sunday night, then you go Wednesday. Like, it was always a part of my life. And so I think that at some point between it always being a part of my life and getting turned off by the church, I think I needed to take a little time to figure out like, what do I believe, and like, how does this fit in my life honestly, and not just this kind of like force-fed thing, not from my parents, but just, and I did get turned off by it. And I think I was kind of like mad at these people, like, why y'all so bitchy about this? Like, this doesn't feel like the kind of God I think that I'm, worshiping. And so it took me a little while to come back around. Like, I was never like a Satan worshiper after that, but like, God,
it just, what a plot twist that would be.
Suddenly I'm just like,
unbelievable.
So now I'm really into Satan.
Yeah.
No, I just
Satan is real. The Leuven brothers. We could go back to that. Is the
I just like wear all black and I just like black. Yeah,
great.
That's so me, so on brand. So I think for me it's just like a journey. And we all have our own like spiritual walk. How do you feel like you are with it now? Like, did it turn you off your whole Hebrew school and the rabbis, or?
No, because I was getting, no. Actually, this is really what happened. If anyone out there cares. What happened was the teacher in my class would send me out of the classroom because I was very disruptive. Okay. And I was. And where I would go would be the rabbi's office. So I would sit in the rabbi's office, and I became very friendly with the rabbi because I would end up talking to him. And my rabbi became a rabbi when I was a kid. Now I don't have a rabbi. That'd be so ridiculous. But
I need to like understand a rabbi more.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
My rabbi became a rabbi, he told me, because he felt like he screwed up his whole life, that the only way he could ask forgiveness from God was to become a rabbi, is what he did. So I think he understood my rebellious nature. So I actually have a fine relationship with the whole thing. But nobody told me I was going to go to hell is the difference.
You could have become a rabbi.
Nobody opened up. I'm not becoming a rabbi. Nobody opened up binders. No, but I'm serious. That is crazy. Like, it wasn't that bad. Like, they would just say, they would kick me out. But nobody was like questioning my life choices. Yeah. Like, with it, which to me, I feel like is a big difference. Like, that is crazy to me.
There's definitely like hateful church people. But then, you know,
of course.
I don't know. Since then, I've watched things, and heard preachers talk about, it's like, you can't confuse Jesus followers for Jesus, and blame and get those two mixed and blame the wrong thing, you know? So I don't know, look, I don't make it to church all the time because sometimes I'm tired on Saturdays and I do the best I can to show up and it's something I should probably, all of it, I should put into practice more. But
look, I'm not here to tell you what to do.
Oh no, no, I'm just keeping it real because the thing is, like, I don't want to talk about Jesus and people think like, oh my God, she's so devout. It's like, I feel like I'm so guilty of like, praying when I need something. Yeah. But it's like, am I putting it into practice when I don't need anything at all? I don't know. So, just food for thought.
I don't even think about that.
Well, there's something to think about this week.
I'll be thinking about that when I listen back and edit this. What you always say that you grew up and you were very unpopular. Yeah. And these are your words, that you had like no friends. Yeah. When you were growing up. It wasn't like I went to a school and nobody wanted to be my friend. I just didn't go to a school, so I didn't meet people to become friends with. Was that so lonely? Or looking back, do you go, oh my God, how did I get through that without feeling lonely? Like, did you realize that maybe kids your age had friends or could have had friends?
I definitely started to notice that when I was probably, I don't know. It must have been before it must have been like 8, 9, 10. I mean, I think I started to notice it because I remember we were still living at the ranch at that time. And I just remember my dad walking me down our mile-long gravel road, and because I talked to him about what if I went to school, and I remember he'd take me to the bus, like the neighbors, they got the bus, and went to regular school. And so I remember us like walking that and seeing them getting picked up at like 6 a.m. And he's like, well, this is what you be doing. You get picked up. And, and then I just remember thinking about, because my dad homeschooled me and my mom worked. And I remember asking him, like, does that mean like you'd have to you go to work and I wouldn't see you? And then I like started crying. I was like, no, I want to hang out with my dad. And so I just think that there were parts of me that like wanted that normality, like saw that whatever I was doing was not the norm. And then when I was a little bit older, like in my teens, I definitely was like, I want to feel that. Like part of you as a kid, like you want to feel 1% cool, a little bit.
That's what I'm curious about.
And I think when you're playing polka gigs, like, yeah, now you can be like, oh yeah, I played polka gigs. It was cool, whatever, like fun times. But at the time when you're like kind of an awkward 12-year-old, also kids these days at 12 are like really hot. And now, and like in my day, we were not looking hot.
Yeah.
And we're like awkward. You're like going through wearing too much eyeliner. You got braces. You're just like figuring it out, wearing stud belts and shopping at PacSun. And, I just think that I yearn to feel that like coolness a little bit. And because did you see other kids around you? Yeah.
Like where, at church, or like you would go out and you'd see other kids around you?
I mean, we try to go to homeschool groups, but I thought homeschoolers were so weird.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They
Isn't
are
that funny?
Such freaks.
You were judging the other homeschoolers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, but they were weird.
And then would you ever think to yourself, what are the odds out of all these homeschoolers that I think are weird that I'm the only one who's not weird? I've gone on bachelor trips like that where I go, all of my friends suck. What are the odds I'm the only one who doesn't suck?
They must think that about me. I don't know.
Or maybe I also suck. I don't know.
There is that chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I think certain people are weird, but I'm like, I do think I'm weird. But there's different
But you didn't feel like the cool one being like...
God, no. Like, I think that
all the other homeschooled kids.
Oh, well.
Okay.
But no, I was like sewing my own clothes. I kind of fit in with them. I was like, oh, you want to sew buttons on your socks? Let's do that. Let's smock our little dresses. Like... I was wearing clothes from here to my ankles. I was just being one of them because that's what my friends did. So I was like, yeah, let's sew our own clothes and enter things in the fair and like do that, and so I think just, at some point I'm like, I want to go, like I'd never been to a football game, and like, I started college really young. And so I'm like kind of awkward because I'm like starting college young and I'm in these classes and like my dad was required to go back to the school with me to every class, and he'd sit in the back. And it was like, well, my dad's here. And then I'm like trying to make friends in the college, but I'm too young for them. And then I go to my friends at home and I'm like, so just got back from college. And they're like, wait, you're like 13. And so they couldn't really relate. And it's like, yeah, now I'm going to go to my polka gig. And they're like, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's just like no part of my life was fitting into their life. And so I didn't see it as I was cool. I just saw it was like, God, like I just feel different. You don't get
When did you feel like you really started to like have a group of friends, or I don't know, like maybe you don't
probably
feel that
Berkeley.
way. Like, when you went to Berkeley, that was like,
because then now I'm
fitting in. Like now I
was just starting to be actual college age because like when I got accepted, I was 16.
Yeah,
and
that's still a big difference from people who are freshmen who were like 18.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I had to grow up that semester because even though I've been playing gigs with like adults, like it is way different when you're living with straight up 17-year-old college kids, because Berkeley put me in the dorms with...
Where, 150?
Yeah. Classic. But this is like old school 150, like not these...
the old cafeteria.
Yeah, not these fancy ones.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And these kids don't even know like what 150 was like. And so... But I had 2 kids that were a part of the summer semester. Like they were like a dual credit. They were still in high school, but we were put because of our age.
Yeah.
And so they were just there because their family was rich and just sent them off to basically get ribbon for the summer.
Yeah.
No offense. But like they...
I went to Berkeley in the summer. Is that what happened?
I went in the summer. No, but...
You went the summer too?
I did the summer too.
Did my parents want to get rid of me? Is that the truth?
I'm telling you because these girls were straight up...
Okay.
I mean, I didn't even know what That's What She Said meant before,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm like,
What a great education, though.
oh, yeah, great education. But like
No,
the
I'm
first,
serious.
I'm getting locked
Yeah.
out of there, or they're just like, you know, hooking up with people on parallel bunk beds with a disco ball going with girls and guys. And I'm
Oh
just
my
on the
God.
bottom being like, ah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like
Just loving every second of it. Yeah.
yeah, totally. Just
That's
loving
a different
it.
podcast. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was just being like, oh my God, like I didn't even know this stuff could happen. So
Yeah.
I grew up really fast. And I also moved out of that room and got different roommates. But
That's
but
what I did my freshman year.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened with your roommates?
I couldn't even tell you the story, but one of my roommates got arrested. The other one, like within a week,
Wow.
within a week, we had cops come in. They tore our apartment apart. He was selling drugs.
Oh my
God! It's a crazy story. And then my other, it was a whole thing, and I was
God.
out of there quick. Yeah.
I mean, there's just lots of kids, lots of riffraff, you know. I mean, the one girl, I mean, she looked rough. And the thing is, I'm not hating on her looks. Like, she made herself look rough. Like,
Yeah,
when somebody's not been sleeping and taking drugs and doing everybody and their 10 kids, like, you're going to look bad.
This kid DM'd me recently on Instagram. I haven't spoken to him in like 10 years. He DM'd me recently, and he was like, "You ruined my life." Blah 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 blah.
Oh my God!
And I was like, dude, like you got caught selling drugs on a college campus. Like I didn't do anything, but it was such an amazing message to receive. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But so at Berkeley though, were you hanging out with like Mac Glazer and like were you like a poster child? Because I feel like Berkeley would have loved you. Like the right people at Berkeley.
We had a great time.
Yeah, right.
We really did.
Yeah.
I feel like I was taken in by that whole community like really well
Because you were so authentic, and I think Berkeley sometimes struggles to find students that can really do it, that can really go in a showcase, can really sing. And like I'm assuming you were with like the Roots department, and like I don't even know if that was a thing, but like I bet they would have wrapped themselves around you, and like they would have put you on all the like panels and like or like the showcases and things. Like that's what I'm picturing.
The funny thing is like I was just like singing was just kind of on the side for me there because I was just doing fiddle, and so Matt Glazer was my dude. I love that guy so much. Like we still text now and then. And like Molly Tuttle was there my year. Like Sierra Hull was like before me, but there's so many great people. Like so many amazing people in the scene of like players were there my year, and so we just, I mean, they lined up so many gigs. Like I was making money through Berkeley of just like playing for trustees. And we go play at their house and
I
play.
never got asked to do any of those gigs.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like I was jealous of people like you. I was like, why is nobody asking me to do the trustee gigs or like to do the thing for Roger Brown? Like nobody asked me for any of this.
I know. We were pretty tight back in the day, me and Raj. It was awesome because
jealous.
It just like kept me busy, and I loved it. And I made friends, and I was making money, and just like got to do the real thing. And I think some kids didn't get that whole experience. But like I loved it, and I love Boston. But now, see, when I was there, what year were you there?
I graduated in 2018.
Okay, so
but the funny thing is, we're like the same age.
Yeah, I'm 30. How old are you?
I'm 28. Okay.
Oh wow, so I'm older. Well, I graduated in
2015. When did you graduate?
2013.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're like.
But I graduated when I was 19.
Right.
So it's been a hot second. But even when I was there, I feel like there was more of an emphasis on just players, and it's still a pretty like heavy guy community. Like 1 out of 7 was a girl that went
was
there.
The ratio that I was there. It was impossible to get any action in Berkeley. Like it was because it's all guys.
It's all dudes. But
it's all
now
guys.
I went back there to Boston and play a random gig, and I'm like, let's drive by Berkeley. They're all hot girls out there because
we went at the wrong time. Well, maybe maybe I went at the wrong time.
No, I think I was there at the right time.
You were doing fine. Yeah.
But yeah,
I was just
sorry.
there recently. I didn't see anyone.
I don't know. When I was there, is all these little girls, and they're all like, "We're doing the artist thing." Because for me, I didn't do the showcases. I did, like, there was some cool stuff. Matt Glazer hooked up for me. Like, I played a couple shows, like when Mark O'Connor came. Like me, Mark, Matt played a thing, and then like Julian Lodge came and played. And like,
I love Julian Lodge.
I love Julian Lodge. He's just, I feel like the mainstream people don't know him unless it's like musician.
No, he's one of the greatest guitar players ever. Yeah.
He's unreal. And so I don't know. I just had a blast. Love living in Boston. I feel like it's a different scene there now, but I'm like, I'm just glad I went there when I did. And
I had someone call me recently. Let me get Paxton. Okay. Is that a boy's name or a girl's name? Paxton.
I I don't know, maybe girl.
Okay,
But-
so some Berkeley student emailed me recently and was like, I'm doing this project in a class where I need to interview like an alumni.
Okay.
Someone gave me your name because you live in Nashville. I want to move to Nashville. Can I interview you? I was like, sure. So I give this person my number. They call me. And I know it's Paxton, this person. She's going to listen to this and think this is ridiculous, but it's all going to make sense.
My gosh.
I go, what's up, man? Because I think Paxton is a guy's name.
Right.
So I go, what's up, man? So ignorant on my part. Clearly a voice
like,
comes
hello?
up. Yeah. And I go, well, what do I do now? So I don't even acknowledge it. I just go, oh, Paxton, how are you? Just dive into it. Just move on. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God. I've done that so many times.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a guy named Shannon that I know.
Yeah.
And he
I know
has
guys' names. You can't, with
mud.
Shannon, you can't assume it's a guy's name.
No, he has a mud jewelry line. They have like turquoise and he is incredible. And his wife has jewelry too. But I thought Shannon was his wife.
Yeah.
I thought because they both have jewelry together. And so I was
Right.
like, oh, it's his wife. So I sent a voice memo and I'm like, hey, girl. Like,
That's so good. Yeah.
and he
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not a girl.
Yeah. Paxton did not correct me.
I thought it was a girl. I thought Paxton was a
Yeah.
girl name, but I guess he thought it was a boy.
I have no clue.
You never know these days.
Wait, here's what I want to ask you too. So
Okay.
when you got the gig with Lady A,
Yeah.
you were playing fiddle with Lady A or do you still do that ever or not really?
No.
Like,
I mean, I would if it was like, if somebody
If
asked
it
me the
made
other day,
sense.
I was like, if it's a friend of mine, somebody I like,
Yeah.
and like an opportunity that makes sense, like yeah.
that's my criteria too. Like I get asked all the time and it's like, I'm not going out with you. Like it's not going to happen.
I think Post Malone would have to ask me to come play fiddle.
That would
for
get
me.
you back out.
I think so. I think
KK
it'd be
Johnson was playing fiddle with him during Spotify House. They could have asked you too. Could have been twin fiddles.
just put out that word, just like tag him in this and be like, Post,
Let's go.
let's go.
Here's my point. When you got that gig, there was some part that you were trying to learn that was a Stuart Duncan part.
Yeah, how do you know about this?
I've got an amazing research team. So you're trying to learn this part and you can't figure it out. So you reach out to Stuart Duncan
Yeah.
to teach you the part.
Yeah.
And he says yes. How hard? Well, first of all, what was this part that you couldn't figure out? Because I would think you could play anything.
Wow, I'm trying to remember. So all I remember was that it was all very last minute. Everything with them would be like the day before. The funny thing is Colby, my husband, was day to day for them at the time.
Was that how you got the gig?
No. That's the
Yeah,
interesting
you're not
thing.
a Nepo wife.
Yeah, nah.
No.
I happen to know Slim and Ian for a long time. And so they're like needing a fiddle player. And I guess they were like maybe wanting a girl. And they're like, well, do you know Catie? And they're like, Catie? And they're like, yeah, Colby's girlfriend at the time. And they're like, no. And they're like, well, let's get her. Is she free this afternoon or the next morning or whatever it was? And so, of course, the thing is about Stuart stuff is that like he does like all these crazy tunings. I mean, I don't do any of that. Like,
Yeah.
and so, some of it, like, and they're all in like A flat, it's like, or F sharp, like nothing was super ideal key wise. And so I'm just like, here we go. And, but I'm just a fan of saying yes and figuring it out. And so I learned those songs. And, the only thing I have going for me with that is like, I don't have perfect pitch, but like 8 to 9 times out of 10, if I hear a song that has fiddle already on it, then I'm able to tell what notes the fiddle is playing.
Right.
But I can't tell you like what notes somebody's singing.
Right.
So anyway, that kind of helped me, but I just did it the next day. We had it was a song called Boots, I think it was called, and something else. And we did like a Spotify exclusive kind of, video at some warehouse. So we did that. And then they called me back to do, it was last minute. They're like, hey, it's pre-recorded, but can you come and fake Stuart's part? I don't know if this is like, everybody knows this, but whatever, doesn't really matter. Come fake Stuart's part on TV for I think it was ACMs. I'm literally like chilling out at the pool, like working on my sunburn, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to go like learn this song to fake it well enough.
How well do you have to learn it though? I can't believe you. Okay,
You got to do the
keep telling the
bowings
story.
because it was
Yeah.
like like you don't want to look like an idiot, and so you want to look like you're not faking it. And so, I'm blanking on what that song was. And so it must have been their single or something at the time. And so I kind of learned this song, but I was like, something about what he's doing is not what I'm doing, And so I just texted a friend, got his number, and was like, "Hey, Stuart, it's Catie. You don't know me, but I'm trying to learn some of your fiddle parts right now." And thankfully, Dave Haywood was able to send me like his stems, so I could just hear the fiddle.
You could listen to the actual part, yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm listening to you play, and I'm trying to do some things, because now, instead of just faking it, I was going to be doing Ellen and The Late Show and different shows with them.
So now you actually had to play the part.
Actually had to play. I'm like, we're done faking it. Now I got to,
actually do it.
And so he's like, yeah, I don't know what I can teach you, but yeah, come on out to the house. And then the funny thing is then he texted me a video of my performance of faking his part. Like, send me the link. And was like, is this you playing or is this me? I'm like, I'm honored that you would think that that's me. I was like, that's you and that's just me, doing my thing, just sawing away. And he's like, oh, okay, good to know. And
he's like, good to know. I still got it.
He's like, still, that's me. That's me. And so I went to his house, and he's awesome. He's just on like another level. He is such a chill, humble, incredible human being. And he just showed me some stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I might need to learn. There's a few things I definitely took away from that. Like, that's going to work. I'm glad to know that that's how you do it. But I'm like, I'm also going to adjust it and learn it the way that like my brain can handle, because you're on another level.
This is what I was going to say is if I'm learning songs like for a gig, and sometimes like you probably experienced this too, you're learning songs and the fiddle's buried in a mix and it's like you can't even hear what's happening, or it's like I'll fake it and I'll get it really close. I'll be like, that's fine. And sometimes I know it's not 100% right, but I'm like, nobody's going to know. Like, it's fine. The fans are not going to know. Right. Nobody's going to know. They're going to know. Nobody's going to know.
They're going to know.
They're going to know. But like, and then the other thing too is like, sometimes I'm insecure. Like, I would be insecure texting like Tom Bukovac being like, can you show me this part? Because I would be thinking he's going to think, what, you just can't learn my part?
Right.
Like, you can't learn it. But like, you didn't feel insecure about texting Stuart Duncan, or did you just want the opportunity to sit down with him? Or like that wasn't even crossing your mind. You were like,
no, it's just like, it's a good chance to meet him, and I could use some help. So. And
what does he tell you? Like, does he really help you with the part? Like, you said he helped you with a couple things.
Well, he was like, well, I'm playing in this position, and then I'm actually tuned to this tuning, and I'm like, oh, well, that's above my pay grade.
So you end up faking it anyway, basically.
I ended up faking, but a couple of the things he showed me how he was doing it, and I ended up adapting to that. But like, and now, God, that's been probably like almost 5 years ago now, so it's hard for me to remember exactly, but I just remember being like, oh wow, you do some different things, like so took some of it and then kind of just did my own kind of hodgepodge version. But it was a blast. Like, it was really fun taking those gigs, and I love all them, and they're just like family. For someone who's probably the most successful session fiddle player, were you satisfied with his house? Is that what you want to know? I would say he lives simply. He lives simply. Yeah, I would say like most of the musicians, like, of that vibe that I've been to their house, like, it's way more chill. It's chill. It's so chill. It's like going to your grandma's house, but maybe not your grandma. Like, it has that warm vibe, like just kind of cozy. I'm trying to remember. He lives up in, if it was Hendersonville, or it's like out there. And then he was like, he's like, your fiddle could use a little tune up, like, yes. And so then he kept my fiddle, and like, I paid him to fix it all up and do all these things. He didn't do anything to that fiddle. He was like, I'm putting that closet, bring it back out. No, honestly, it was way better. I don't know what he did. Yeah, he worked some magic. Oh my God. And so I was like, I love that. So anyway, and I did it a couple times. Like, I texted him again. I think I went out to his house maybe 2 or 3 times, but like, his wife is super nice, and we just hung out. Oh, that's so cool. I wish I could hang out with these people. Because he doesn't teach lessons. That was the thing. Some of these people, they just don't teach. Isn't that annoying? Like, why don't these people? And some of these people, like Brent Mason, he'll teach lessons, but it's like $500 a lesson. Can't do that. It's like an attorney. You can't do that. No. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, some of my favorite guitar players, though, that I'd love to take lessons from, people in Boston, too. And these people, like, nobody gives lessons. Who's your favorite? Duke Levine in Boston. I don't know if you know who that is. No. That's the best guitar player. I'm going to turn you on to some Duke Levine. Yeah. We'll talk after. Okay. Yeah. No, but he's the best guitar player on the planet. Okay. Plays with Bonnie Raitt. Yeah. Plays with, I think he played with Roseanne Cash. He's the best That's a good gig. Telly player like I've ever heard in my life. I don't know how I don't know him. Nobody knows him. That's the thing. Okay. The people who know. Yeah. That's all that matters. What's happening with new music? So, new music. When are we putting out an album? Can we talk about that for a second? That's what I keep asking all the people. Yeah. I'm like, who's telling you we can't put out an album? Like, who's getting in the way here? I wouldn't say any person's getting in the way. I'd just say when you have people between you and and the product of actually putting it out when there's like
There's too
20
many
steps.
cooks in the kitchen.
A lot of cooks in the kitchen, but
It's too many.
It's not. It's just, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. I think what I always go back to when I want to complain is that I'm lucky that I get to put out the music that I want to make, because when I talk to some of my friends, that's not always the case. And sometimes.
Why do you think that is? Because they signed you seeing a vision, knowing what you were going to put out. Like, nobody was expecting you to put 808s out. Like,
No.
you gave them a very finished product.
Yeah, I gave them, this is what I want to do. Granted,
yeah.
We didn't end up putting those songs out. So the interesting thing about now is like, so when I got signed to the label, it was off of 3-4 songs that Ryan Beaver and Aaron S. Heiss and I had gone to the studio, and we were like, because I was working with Melissa Spillman at the time. That was around the time that I met you, I think. And like, this is like 2018, 2019. It was like, okay, we're going to go and make some music because I want to put on music and let people know like who the heck I am. So we recorded these songs at Omni, and we just did it with a limited budget because I was paying for it. And then, town's small, and people talk and know what you're doing. And so then I got a couple offers off of that, and I decided to go with Universal. And so they, signed me on knowing that was the whole vibe. And so it was cool because they were like, hey, we're going to give you a legitimate budget now to go back and do that exact same program of you, Ryan, Aaron. Now go to Blackbird. Now get whoever you want to mix it. Do all
and
that,
you went in with Dan Huff, right?
Well, so originally I went back in with Ryan Beaver and Aaron Heiss. So we do that, and we made maybe it was like 6 songs, something like that. So then I turned it in, and long story short, it was like, oh my God, we love these songs, and then it was kind of crickets, and then I got a phone call saying that it didn't have enough sparkle, and at the time I was like, well, I don't know what to do with the word sparkle, because that's not a mix. It's not I'd rather hear like, I hate your voice, I hate this songs, or I don't like this production, whatever.
That's the worst thing you can hear.
I think it's just because it's like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And so, but what I realized is that sparkle equals Dan Huff, and that's not a bad thing. I think that there's just a level of comfortability, and so they reached back out and they were like, hey, this is all great, but like, what do you think if we actually went in and tried some stuff with Dan Huff? And I just said, like, it'll just depend. If I hang out with him and I think he's a cool dude, then yeah. If I don't, then we'll go somewhere else. And so we hung out, and I'm like, God, I actually really like Dan. Like,
why?
He is awesome.
Why does everyone really like Dan?
Do you not?
No, I love Dan. I've never even met Dan. I just want to know, what is he doing that's winning everyone over?
I think he's just an awesome guy, an awesome human being. He is so insightful. He is so musical.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he can just, pick up anything and play it. And I don't know. I feel like because I came in and I was like, this is what I want to do. He saw the vision and could meet me there. I think that we had it was an awesome way to compromise with the label and be like, yes, you know what? Because we recorded part of those songs. And so it was like, I want the songs to live on. And so it wasn't like they were trying to change me. It was just like, I think it was comfortability. And
what is it though? Because I think Dan Huff is like my guitar hero.
Yeah.
Like huge. Like, I've never met him, but I'm like a huge fan.
Yeah.
But I would think that for the sound that you're chasing, I would be worried. I can't think of another Dan Huff record that sounds like your music, because that's like Kane Brown. That's like, but all that stuff is not, I feel like, what you were chasing.
I think that for me, if I feel like I'm vibing with the person and we are like-minded about what we like and, how we see this project, it's like, I think a lot of that, obviously Kane is that way, Thomas Rhett's like that, whatever, they have their thing going. But I've talked to some friends that were like, well, it made me sound too slick, or made me do this. It's like, well, I also think it's on you, because you're still driving that boat. He's producing your music, but you're still the captain. Like, if you wanted to be more one way, then you better speak up, And so I feel like we had a good rapport, so that was able to work. What I'm doing different about this next record that we do, I'm calling it a record. I don't know if it's like an EP or what.
Is he producing it too?
No. So, we've had a lot of turnover at the label, like so much.
I've been reading the Nashville briefing.
There's a lot going on over there, and you know what? It's a small town. Everybody talks. Everybody knows. Like, nothing needs to be said. It's like we all know. But, so for a second there, I was like, I'm just gonna let y'all figure out what you're doing. I'm gonna keep doing me, and then I'm gonna, we'll get back together. But things have, I think, really come together. Or they're starting to come together over there. Like with Jake Gear joining. Like, he's one of us. Like I just feel that things are starting to fall back into place in a good way. And the cool thing is that new blood has caused a reopening of the stuff that I did with Ryan and Aaron. And so I'm not sure 100% what that answer will be as far as who's producing. We have a couple things kind of in the works that I'm really excited about. But I think that some of that music we already recorded will see the light of day. And I think we're going to go back in, and Ryan and Aaron we're going to tweak a couple things, put a new vocal on it, and maybe do a new mix. But those songs will come out on the EP.
Okay, great. Because I feel like there were some songs you played back in the day at Whiskey Jam. And like, it was funny. It's like I was trying to remember what they were. I actually couldn't remember, but I remember there were these songs that you would always play that I thought were great.
I always played Thinking About Things and Another You.
I think that might... Another You.
Yes, Another You is coming out.
I love that song.
Thank you.
But did you notice, and I get what you're saying, but was there a sparkle that you noticed in those Dan Humph recordings? Like, what do you think was really the difference between the two?
There might be an element of a crispness, I call it slick. Like I think there might be one notch of a slickness on some of that stuff. I don't think that it leans poppy. I think that it's just maybe a little slicker, And so I think for this next project, like my goal is just to really lean into the authenticity of like, this is what I do. There is no fluff around it. Like, and not that there was fluff before it, but like, for example, even the photo shoot, like I don't even need to go to a whole photo shoot and have 10 people around me and, 10 pounds of makeup. Like, I just want to go and take some pictures with my friends and just try to connect, because that is what my music is. It's not tracks. It's not me singing, Carrie Underwood runs. It's just, this is an honest song. I hope it connects with you, And so I feel like I'm trying to really bring that approach on these songs and this record, to just connect with people as much as I can, because that's all I can really do. That's all I have control of, and I just want to put out music that I'm proud of. And so I know that Another You's gonna be on there. I'm putting out this song called El Paso Suede. It's just all in this like, just like warm, sinking in that feeling kind of vibe.
How do you think people discover it? Do you think you have to then go on the road and tour it, or do you think like radio is going to be the answer? Like, when you rationalize like the next step, what do you think it is, or what do you think about?
Well, it depends on my answer for what I'm going to do is just keep on hustling, keep pumping it out online, keep playing as many shows as I can. A lot boils down to the label and people and what playlist they want to put it on. I think one of the hardest things I see is getting on certain playlists. Like, that can change everything. Like, if Spotify chooses you to be on a hot country or one of those, like, that is a game changer. Or if your song suddenly blows up on TikTok, the thing is like, I can only do what I know how to do, and that's the grind. And it's just like, I show up, I'll be a good person, I write more songs, I play shows, and I pray for more George, and that's all because nothing is guaranteed in this business. But I at least want to look back when I'm 60 and be like, I'm proud of that, and I'm not embarrassed for my children to go listen to that god awful song I put out or whatever. I
heard you say once in an interview something along the lines of like, you signed with a label because if you sign with a label, then you have a shot. Like, the label comes in, they take a lot, and then they put up this red tape, and now you have to run things by them. And it's
but it does give you a chance.
But it gives you a chance, right? Isn't that why it's all like you shouldn't change where you, like, isn't that the point?
No, I think that's why we do it, because there's a chance.
Yes.
Like, we keep chasing this because there's that what if, and it's such an interesting thing. Like, that's something I've, like, in one way battled and in one way just maybe found more peace with, is like, we are all chasing no matter what level we're at, because it's like, okay, you could want to do the Brad Paisley interview, but then it's like, you're thinking about, well, who do I want to get next? And that's okay. Obviously, that's like, how do you set goals?
I actually thought about packing it up and going home.
Just be like,
I actually really did
done.
think, I was like, is there anything left for me here? Like, what am I
just
doing?
Just look at that Catie Offerman interview and then we're done. So,
basically, I was like, I promised Catie we get her on, let's do that, and then we're packing up.
He's like, done.
Pretty much.
But it's like, even I talk to friends that have had a number one or several number ones or 10 number ones or a ACM or CMA or a Grammy, like, it doesn't end. They're still chasing that next thing. And so it's like, how do we find contentment in, like, you know what? I make a decent living. I have a husband that loves me and 2 3 dogs.
I want to wrap up with this last dog.
Should we talk about the dog?
Home Depot dog.
Let's do it.
You got a dog at home because what the hell happened here? You went to Home Depot.
I mean,
And-
she's my home screen. Oh,
Can we get a
It's
close up
Winnie.
of that? We're here. Just get a close up of this. Don't even move anything. I'm just gonna hold it right here. Can you see that? We'll overlay it. It doesn't even matter. We'll overlay it. She'll send me the image and we'll overlay it. We got.
I'll send to you.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, put here.
It's like
It's like all the
whose
text.
message?
There we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. That's a close up. This will all be edited.
That's the
So
babies.
smooth. There
Those
we
are my
go.
girls.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Who's
Yeah.
the
So Winnie is the blonde.
Okay,
And she's
yeah.
our Home Depot dog.
If I got a dog, would you babysit? Would Colby babysit? Who's gonna babysit? Because I'm dying to get a dog, but I travel so much.
If it's going to be a little toy dog, then maybe. But I'm looking for someone to babysit my dogs.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Let me do one weekend with your dogs. I'll babysit. Let me see what it's like. I've never had a dog in my life. I've never had never had anything.
I'll drop off Pearl. I feel like she's the most
You
trained
know what?
in that
As soon as
three.
I said it, I changed my mind. Don't
You're
do
just
it.
like, okay. You can come over and hang out with them for like an hour.
Okay,
That's probably
great.
more your speed.
That's more what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at. What were you saying? You're at Home Depot.
So
this gives me
basically,
anxiety to think about.
I think when you
can't
put
even.
out a song called "Get a Dog," like you put it out in the universe, and just like
Yeah.
I just somehow
First
read
of all, not true. You have 2 dogs, and you always have the power to say, "No, I'm not going to take that dog home."
no, that doesn't exist. There's no
Putting
power in
this
my
song
body.
out does not mean anything. It's a story. Okay, fine. So
There is no thing in my body that will be like, I don't want your dog unless it was ugly.
okay, yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Right,
but
right.
it's like when somebody
care.
says I want to give you, I have a little soft spot for like tiny dogs or Frenchies, and I'm like, if somebody's like, I'm going to give you my Frenchie, I'm like, okay, perfect.
But
like,
they ran into you. What was the deal?
okay, so basically we were downtown walking our dogs around in Franklin. We'd driven down there, and we're like driving around, park, take the dogs on a walk. It's like 8 o'clock. You know, we're just doing like a night drive, and then we take the girls for a walk. And then we're driving back, and on the way home, I'm like, you know what? Let's actually stop at Home Depot. And not my typical, like, I'm usually like,
Why? What'd you
let's stop
need?
at the mall. I want to look at Ventahoods.
A what?
A Ventahood.
A what?
Like a
Oh, a
Ventahood.
vent hood. A vent.
A
Vent-
Ventahood.
Why are you saying
I
venta?
think it's got an A.
No, it doesn't have an A. Are you crazy? Does it have an A?
Ventahood.
I just call it a vent.
Look it up.
It doesn't even matter. Okay, so
But
hold on.
I don't know. It says welding hood. That's not what I'm talking about.
Vent. Okay, wait. Stove,
vent.
cook, vent. Yeah, there's no A.
Ventahood.
Vent hoods.
Vent. Vent.
I'm
Okay, so it's still a Ventahood. But wow, I've been calling it a Ventahood.
Nobody corrected you. I'm a real friend, Catie Offerman. Okay, I'm correcting you.
Nobody has.
I'm calling this out. Your husband's
So,
not
he
saying
had
anything.
No, he could, one time we were at a restaurant. He's like, "I'll have the meringue pie." I'm like, "Meringue?"
The meringue pie.
He called it meringue.
First of all, what's happening with your old vent? Okay, it doesn't
No,
even
nothing.
matter.
I just thought it was like, oh, well, let's just go look, and maybe there's like a cool wood one
That
or
is
something.
crazy.
So
okay,
we're at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And we're going to walk out.
The vent aisles. Yeah.
I'm on the Ventahood. And so we're like, okay, we're done. We're not getting a Ventahood, whatever. We go to leave, and the cashier's like, oh my God, your dogs, you know? And so she's petting the dogs, and then this Hispanic guy comes up and is like trying to talk to us in English, but like doesn't really speak English. And I'm like trying to speak English in a Hispanic accent.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know nothing. And so I'm just over there like, yeah. And he's like, I have a Frenchie too. I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, let me see a picture. And he shows me a picture. I was like, oh my gosh, so cute. I was like, girl or boy, whatever. We talk about it. He's like, yeah, her name's Choppy. I'm like, oh, Choppy. And
Is that with an A?
or
no?
no, I named her Winnie. I was like, Choppy seems a little more of her ethnic culture.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
she's a new leash on life. Like
Yeah.
we're moving forward.
Just
And
rename dog, whatever. It doesn't
Yes.
matter. Just yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, I need to get rid of her. I'm like, wait, what? Like, come again? And he was like, yeah, it's not really like a good fit. But he's like trying to explain to me, but the English isn't there. And basically what I got out of it is they have another dog. It's not a great fit. Something about his wife
Yeah.
not loving it. I don't know. That was it. Do you want to come now? That's what he said. And it's like almost 9 o'clock. And I'm like, and Colby's like,
First of all,
we're about to get killed.
You're gonna get kidnapped and killed. Second
sure.
of all, they're getting rid of the dog. The last thing I'd want is the dog that they're getting rid of. Third of all, I'd be thinking about fleas. I'd be thinking
No,
about.
I didn't think about fleas. See, we used to pick up dogs with rabies like on the side of the road. that
Oh
was
my
pregnant.
god!
No.
Oh my god! Okay, so
See,
you go
gotta
over.
get your hands dirty in life. Like,
That's
just,
why I don't have a dog.
Okay,
Look at this. There's
exactly.
no calluses on my hands. Okay.
That's your problem. So we I was like, yeah, we can't come tonight. I was like, we have a late dinner to go to, you know, like just trying to make him an excuse.
Yeah.
But I was like, here's my number. I was like, if you're serious, like text me more pictures tomorrow. And so exchanged information.
I feel like you're too famous to be giving out your phone number.
I will, if somebody says I will give you a free shirt or a dog, I'm like, here's my social. Like,
just take it all. Yeah. Okay, fine.
And so I give him my number, and the next day we're like texting. Just pictures, and I'm asking questions. He just sends pictures back, and he's like, no English, like I can't type it. I'm like, sweet. So then I'm like, I'm sending Google Translate messages in Spanish, you know, and I'm like, do you cuatro año I don't remember what the dog is, whatever, you know, and I'm like,
doesn't matter. So somehow what happens? You end up.
He sends me a dot on the map and says, you come pick her up.
Here.
She's all yours.
I
wish I could remember the dog. I know Gato's cat, but like whatever. Come pick up the dog. And I'm like, what about meeting back at Home Depot? And it was just, he just said like, my family's there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell Colby. You know, I'm like, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
If you're even still alive.
I'm still alive. So I'm like, okay, what kind of protection should I take? I'm like, pepper spray and a knife. Let's go with that. So I brought pepper spray and I called Max, my guitar player, because he's young and he'll do whatever I say. Yeah. And I was like,
isn't that great to have those people in your life? You could, he'll do anything.
I'm like, do you want to go get a dog today? He's like, yeah, let's go. So I'm like, meet me here at this gas station. Then we're going to try to find this house from here. Because it wasn't an address. It was just like a pin, but it was like kind of on the street.
I can't believe you were so eager for a dog though. This is the thing that's like weird 100%. To me. Like, what? But
I don't know how you wouldn't be eager for this dog. Like,
but what do you mean? Like,
and it was free.
But can you go to adoption shelters and get free dogs? Like I feel like it's easy to get free dogs.
My God, like,
if you need a dog.
If there's ever a sign from God in your life, it's that this man came up to me in Home Depot and it was like he felt this like presence of me taking his dog.
Oh my God! I guarantee he was going up to everyone. You're the only one who bit. Okay, fine. Keep going with the story.
I think I just had that look like I would give his dog a better life. Like I can't blame him for that because at least he didn't dump her. And so, long story short, we're out in the pouring rain. It was storming so bad that day. We're out in the rain, and we're like trying to find the picture. We're looking at pictures of the dog he sent me that match like a swing in the front yard. Like we're trying to find this house. So we end up there, and I see like hammers. Like he's a construction worker or whatever. And so I see hammers laying out the front. I'm like, well, at least we got an extra like thing of protection if things go south. And then I call him. He didn't answer. I'm like, oh, great, you know. And then he calls me. He's like, okay, they're going to be coming around with her. And then all of a sudden, this other guy that doesn't speak English comes around the back, and she'd been living out in their backyard, and he just hands me the dog, and I gave him $20 for his leash. And because I was like, kind of the least I could do.
Is that legal? Like, do you need to be registered to a dog, or how does that work?
He gave me the papers. So basically, his cousin had like bought the dog. I called the breeder and confirmed everything. His like cousin had bought the dog. So it turns out she had really bad health problems. And so
like
that
what?
is
Like
why.
What kind of bad health problems?
I mean, not like
have?
Obviously like cancer would have been worse, but like basically she had ulcerative colitis that had never been treated. Even the breeder knew that.
How do you treat that? What do you do?
Lots of medication. I mean, just different forms of treatment.
So how's
and stuff.
the dog now?
So basically, when I got her, I took her to PetSmart because I'm like, I'm gonna take her to some little janky vet just to see like something cheap, get her in, make sure she doesn't have like parvo or like something weird. And they're like, oh my God, she's perfect. It's a miracle. They're like, she just looks rough. She's probably like been fed tortillas for like her whole life.
Were you instantly in love with this dog?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
she's just a little nugget. I got a little strawberry outfit. I'm like, I just love her.
Okay,
you know?
so you take it to PetSmart.
Colby still doesn't know at this point.
Yeah.
So I take her to PetSmart. I get a clean bill of health. I'm like, oh, look at me. Go me. Good
Go,
deed for like.
Catie.
Go, yes.
Divorce is not on the way.
Oh no.
It's gonna work.
I did my great deed for my lifetime. And so then I'm like, okay, well, let's just get her home, you know? Well, within the first day, like 24 hours, like it is obvious something is not normal. Like she can't go to the bathroom.
These idiots at PetSmart, they had no idea what they were talking about.
No. There's just blood, coming from her butt, and she can't go to the bathroom. And I'm like...
That happened to me recently.
Get that checked out, man. So I
gotta go to the same vet. Okay,
I got a guy for you.
Okay, great.
And he does a great finger exam.
That's what I need.
So
we'll talk after.
I take her back to PetSmart, and they say the same thing. Like, no, she's good. It's probably just, she doesn't have worms, but we'll give her lots of medication, worm preventative. I'm like, okay. Still happens. Something is not right. And then... I'm like, I need a second opinion. I take her to Animalia, and it is unreal. The best place. Dr. Cruz is like my savior. I just love him. I would go see him for my own doctor if I could.
Yeah. See, that's where I need to go next.
Yes, he will see you. I'll make a private appointment.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Yeah, humans and dogs. And within like 2 minutes, he did a physical exam. It was like, I should be able to get my finger. This is a great conversation. I should be able to get my finger of a dog's butt. And if you are pressing against something within the first like quarter inch, then there's either a tumor or something. But because her ulcerative colitis had never been treated, her whole, like a certain area of her colon had become scar tissue.
Oh.
And so I had to pay to do balloon treatments.
How much was it?
Oh, I try to put that on my memory. I mean, it's obviously
over
like,
10,000.
No.
Under 10,000.
Yeah.
So you got the free dog. This is ridiculous. This is the whole problem with the logic is you're like, but it was free, but you probably had to spend.
No, it wasn't free. But you know what? It made me realize just how many animals out there like just live such a rough life and like they never get help.
I know that, and I didn't need to adopt a dog to learn that lesson.
Well, you know what? You're just like a bitter, cold human being.
No,
you're just like, I don't need to adopt a dog. They can suffer. It's okay.
I just think sometimes like some guy's gonna come up to me in Home Depot with a dog, and I'm gonna take the dog. Like it's
just like the vibe I put out.
Was that?
I put out the vibe of
I put out good vibes too. I mean,
but you are definitely not giving me the vibe like I will take your dog. You were like,
right,
I will definitely not take your dog.
That's crazy. It's the most crazy thing I've ever heard.
You know what? I feel like
how old is the dog? Do we have a sense?
2.
Do we know?
Yeah, she's 2.
Okay.
And so she's doing
info, so you know.
great now.
Yeah,
like she's doing awesome.
Colon's taken care of.
Colon is good to go.
Colon.
That balloon just blew her up. Like she is better now. No, you know what I think? Like I've never had a ghost experience, but I have friends because they're open to it. They have experiences.
Okay.
And so I'm like, if I'm open to taking your dog, I get what I put out there.
Maybe
so
that's why I'm still single too. I'm not open to
You're not putting that out there.
Yeah, I'm
you
not
need
putting
like
that
women
out
and
there.
dogs, and also dogs are a great way to get women.
By the way,
so
this is why I want to borrow one of your dogs because I was on 12 South once with a friend of mine's dog. And he went into a store. He was like, hold this dog. I think like 3 women came up to me on 12 South.
Oh my God. Let's do an episode and I'll hide and you can hold the dog.
Can we do that? Because I've thought this would be great content. Let's do that.
Yes.
Which one do we take?
Oh, Winnie for sure.
Winnie for sure.
Yes, because she's blonde and she's like sweet. She's like, goo goo eyes.
Okay,
like,
we'll talk. Yeah.
Catie
Offerman on the podcast. What's been unsaid? What have we left out? New music is coming, but you've got like 10 songs on Spotify that people need to go listen to.
Listen
like roughly.
and follow me on Instagram.
You have to follow Catie on Instagram.
Please. I told everybody at the George Show, I was like, it doesn't matter if 100,000 y'all message me, I'll respond back to every single person. And people messaged me and was like, bet you'll never respond to this. And I messaged every single person back. Let's go. I mean, oh God, I can't.
That was rough. Yeah, you gotta get elbows.
Do you like hand hugs? I love hand hugs.
Dude, it's just warm and
so
fuzzy.
Affectionate.
it's so.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it. Yeah. It feels a little weird, but I like it.
No, that's fine.
But I like to hit people back because like that's the least I can do.
You have to. I'm like the same way. Like I'm a nobody, but like every comment I got on like a YouTube video or everything, I respond to everything. Sometimes people write these long messages. Do you find that too? And then I'm like, dude, now I have to read your essay. Which at the end tells a story that could be written in one sentence.
I know. But it's okay. They're making that effort. So I'm like, I got to make the effort back.
I'll respond. Yeah. Have we left anything out? We've covered the dog.
I mean, look at this. I feel like people should just see like the fact that he has written an essay. We're going to publish a thing about Catie Offerman.
Yeah. There's lots of notes. God. I typically don't like people looking at my notes.
I can't even read your handwriting. It's so awful.
That's the point. Yeah, exactly.
No, thanks for like sharing my story. And it's just, I'm glad to be friends with you still after all these years.
Are we still friends?
Well, I don't know because apparently I didn't remember any of the times we've hung out.
That's what I'm worried about. When is your first recollection of us even meeting?
I just know it was there. Like I just know I was there and you were there.
You were there and yeah.
Because sometimes there's just these things like Whiskey Jam. Like I don't know. Like it was just one of those.
I'm such a fan. Those early performances at Whiskey Jam, they were so great because. And by the way, like sometimes like you think like, oh, like maybe today I'd have a different opinion about whatever. But I just remember like. So many bands at Whiskey Jam being so noisy and so loud, and now those people were probably like Bailey Zimmerman or something. Like they're
probably actually like famous, and I'm still like,
no, they're doing great, I'm sure. But I just remember you would come on with like you and like an acoustic guitar player, and the songs would be so good, and your voice
Thank
would
you.
cut through. And I was always just such a fan, even though
you.
you never remembered me ever. It took so many
I'm
times.
such a douche.
But
I'm just the
my
worst.
God. But and now these early songs are gonna come out. I need to like hear them again because I feel like I'm gonna be able to sing along to them if I hear them.
I'll send you some demos. Like we can
I
start
want
supporting
how
the
do I
cause.
get on the Catie Offerman demo train? That's what I want.
I love it.
Who's in that circle? Who gets the demos?
Whoever asks for them. If
Okay.
somebody's like,
Does
I want
Roxy
that
King
demo,
get the demos?
not anymore. I'm not at UMPG anymore, so
You're not?
rip. No, I'm not signed anywhere. So yo, hit
Should
me
we start a
up.
publishing company?
Yeah,
Katie, I want to start a publishing company.
we'll call it Winnie Pubco.
How is this even possible? I want to talk off air about this.
Okay.
All right, let's start a publishing company.
But also, we're gonna do.
what are we gonna do? 12 South.
12 South.
We're gonna take Winnie.
Winnie,
Women.
and Zach.
I feel like you could help me meet my wife. Is that possible?
Let's do a show, like
Let's-
one show of like me, like
Blair, can we do this?
Yes, no.
Can we do
I-
this? How do we do this? Like a
I'm
dating
gonna
show.
dress my
You
dog
would-
up looking so cute for you.
I think
and-
you host it. Who's the guy who hosts The Bachelor? What's his name?
Chris Harrison.
You could be Chris
Oh
Harrison.
my god, this could be a thing, and like we keep taking the dog to different places and seeing
Yes.
what women. Because yes, I mean I'm down. I have nothing better to do. Like,
Well, you're on tour with George Strait. You need a life. What is going on? What are you talking about?
I would be there. I would cancel my plans just to take my
That's
dog
the point.
around.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We're wrapping up. Katie on the podcast.
It's been real.
Cut it.
Uh,
Point.
night.
Done. Oh, wait. No, just do it.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, you're the
Wait,
best.
you're not with Universal anymore?
I haven't been with
That
them
to
for
me is
almost a year.